It had been a wintry day. Katie discovered that if you build a snowman too tall, someone else will have to put the hat on. Orbie learned that you can make a wonderful snow fort, but it isn't safe to put a roof on it. And they both discovered little birds have trouble finding food in winter and need our help. Today, the family was going on a sleigh ride. It was at Micah's farm. Mom was making apple cider and hot chocolate in the kitchen. Dad was stuffing some old blankets and extra winter clothes into a duffel bag. Katie and Orbie were up in the bedroom putting on long underwear. Orbie was curious as to why they would need to be so warm to go on a sleigh ride. Katie buttoned up her top button and smiled at him. This was a huge sleigh, so big you couldn't push it. Orbie wondered how they would get down the hill. It wasn't for hill riding, Katie explained. A horse had to pull it. Orbie didn't understand, but he tried. Katie promised that he was going to love it. When they were all dressed, Dad called and said it was time to go. Mom had invited Cherise and her mom. They were waiting in their car, all ready to follow Dad up to the farm. Soon they were on their way. After a time, they came to an old log fence. Dad turned into the long driveway. They were there. As they drove up to the farmhouse, Katie decided it was the longest driveway ever. When they came to a stop, Dad let Orbie honk the horn to tell Micah and his mom that they were there. They didn't actually need to honk because Micah was standing at the door waiting for them. He ran down to the car and gave Mom and Dad, Katie and Orbie a big hug. He was so glad to see them. When both cars were parked, Micah's mom came around the end of the barn with a horse. It was beautiful. It was the first time Orbie had ever seen a horse close up. He thought maybe the horse was breathing fire like a dragon when he saw smoke coming out of its nose. Micah chuckled. He liked Orbie. He explained that it wasn't smoke or fire. It's the horse's hot, steaming breath hitting the cold air. Micah asked all his friends if they would like to pat the horse. The horse's name was Spirit. Orbie went first, and then Katie. His nose was soft. Micah gave Cherise an apple, and she held it out to Spirit, who was very gentle. Micah's mom came back and said she needed to hook up Spirit so the sleigh ride could begin. She took Spirit around the back of the farm, and Dad went to give her a hand. Everyone else unloaded the cars. Soon, Micah's mom brought the horse and sleigh around the barn. Dad stood up in the sleigh and waved at everybody to come on up. The horse stopped in front of Katie, Orbie, and Cherise. Dad and Mom helped everybody up onto the sleigh. When Katie and her friends were on, they noticed that it was covered in straw. The straw made it soft and warm. Mom bundled everybody up in blankets. Cherise smiled at Katie and Orbie. This was going to be fun. When everybody was on the sleigh, Micah's mom made a clicking sound, and Spirit started to pull forward. The sleigh made no noise. It slid silently over the snow. The only noise anyone could hear was the soft, jingling bells around Spirit's neck. It wasn't long before they were deep in the forest, and Micah told everybody to watch carefully because there were lots of deer in his forest. Orbie was the first to see a deer. It turned and looked at him. It stood still for a moment, and then with a sudden jump, it was off through the woods. This was certainly good entertainment. Micah's forest was terrific. Dad asked everybody to look up. When they did, they saw beautiful snow-filled trees hanging over the top of them. Mom thought it looked like a fairyland. Later, Mom was handing out hot drinks when Orbie pointed to the tracks left in the snow by the sleigh. Two little white bunnies were hopping along in the tracks behind them. Charisse had never seen a real bunny in the wild. She asked Micah if the bunnies belonged to him, and Micah smiled at Charisse. He said that the bunnies live in his forest, but that they belong to nature. Deep in the forest on an old oak tree, there was a bright red ribbon. Micah's mom stopped the sleigh. Everybody got off and jumped and played in the snow. Katie decided that they should decorate the forest for the animals, so the friends made snow angels. Then Orbie flipped into the snow and sank right up to his waist. It was very deep. Next, they had a game of stepping in the giant's steps. Dad and Charisse were the giant. When the game was finished, Micah took a bag off the sleigh and asked his friends to come and help. Micah explained that when they got to the red ribbon, they always left treats for the wild animals in his forest. All the animals knew where to look. Well, I don't have to tell you that everybody thought this was an excellent idea, and they set right to work. Micah hung a peanut butter ball on a tree. Orbie sprinkled seeds around the bottom of another tree, and Charisse ripped up bread and threw it over the side of the sleigh. Katie left carrots and some vegetables in the snow. Charisse's mother helped Micah's mom fill the bird feeder. They were just in time. It was completely empty. On the way back, everybody sang songs, and I wonder if you can guess which one they sang the most. It was Jingle Bells, because they were dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh. Everyone came back from the sleigh ride with bright rosy cheeks and red noses. Orbie, Katie, and Charisse thought it was about the best fun they'd ever had. And I'm sure that if you ever get a chance to go sleigh riding in the snow, you'll think so too.
Did you know? No. Did you know? Did you know? A raisin was once a grape. And a pickle used to be a cucumber. Before a prune was a prune, it was a plum. They all have wrinkles. If you stay in the bathtub too long, you can get wrinkled too.